Todd is not only a remarkable, successful 30-year titan in business with having multiple businesses that generate multiplied millions of dollars.
And if that plan happens to be to build $1 million company, which I can help you do.
But he's humble. He's a man of God. He's a family man.
The world's news organizations are built on everything but positivity.
He is an influential entrepreneur and business speaker for over 30 years.
I've got to forecast. I've got to pronounce. I've got to project. I've got to share with you my ideas, my vision, my goals for not only myself, but for you.
That's why he's came up with his incredible concept of taking and creating a platform for people that are wired differently.
And you got to understand that your habits of your person and your habits of your business and your habits of your spirituality have to lead to the North Star of who you are. We need to figure out who we want to be in life. Good morning. Good morning. On like clockwork. We do it again every morning. How are you, my friends? Trying to get this microphone. Chad told me to try to move some things around. I don't like it, Chad. I don't like it. I'm going to try it like this, and then towards the end of the show, we'll move it around a little bit. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, and I've got to tell you, I'm super excited. This week has just went by like a blur. A lot of you know that I took some time off, and this was my week back. I was rattled a little bit. I mean, some of us go through things and we get rattled a little bit. You think, oh, but you're my coach. You're my coach. Well, listen, man. Coaches are people too. Coaches have feelings too, right? And I just want you to understand that I'm your human coach. And I've got to tell you that this whole week from day one on Monday, we talked about Monday. Let's see, I got my notes up here. And they lived happily ever after. I mean, that was an inspired message. It was truly inspired. It was inspired by I believe God. It was inspired by things in my life. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to be looking at comments this whole week. I decided to hang on and look at comments and talk and encourage. I need you guys to share this show. We're continuing to grow, and I need you to share it. I need you to understand that more people need to hear this message. And that's how I'm being blessed. That's how you're being blessed. We talked about that yesterday, about how our pain, our purpose to pain, right, is some of the things that we've learned, some of the things that we share that we can minister and help other people with. But we talked about on the very first Monday we talked, and they lived happily ever after. And we talked about the murky middle. And then I think on Tuesday we talked about my truck doesn't fit in my garage. I know some people got some chuckles out of that. And that the concept there was we're too much of a hurry. We're too much of a hurry. Things get ahead of us, right? We work so hard for the happy ending. We live happily ever after. And then we work so hard to get things, and we make decisions. And sometimes we don't spend the right amount of time on them. We're in a hurry. Right. And then yesterday was to clean up my life, my Lord, right? We talked about that we're here for others. 2 Corinthians 1, 3 through 4. 2 Corinthians 1, 3 through 4, right? 3 and 4. And our purpose is here to understand and share and to lean on God. And then we're able to share our learns, our finds, our paths, our understandings with other people. Which led me to today. You know, like all week, I've just had this renewed sense of like, man, it's all going to be fine. It's all going to be good. I know a lot of you are listening and driving your cars, and you're thinking about and you're reflecting on what's being said these mornings, because I get the emails, I get the text messages, and I get the DMs on the Facebook, lots of them. Thank you very much. But I want you to understand that today, Thursday, so tomorrow's Friday, it's Friday, and we're going to be talking about, I got a milestone that I'm going to be sharing with you guys tomorrow that's super, super special. Chad has reminded me of something that we've been doing, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. We're going to celebrate a big milestone tomorrow that you guys have done with me. You've been around it with me. You've encouraged me. I've encouraged you, and we have reached a milestone. Tomorrow we're going to talk about it. I don't know if anybody can guess. I got people commenting right now. Guess what you think maybe it would be a cool milestone for Wired Differently and this podcast and anything tomorrow. But today I want to talk to you about refreshments. Anybody? Refreshments, refreshments, refreshments. The kind of cool thing about refreshments is that if you saw the teaser for today's show, I had a sign of cold drinks on the billboard. And it reminded me of a friend of mine who has been giving me some advice. I have lots of friends. I get lots of advice. I mean, some advice you want to hear, and you know what? Most of it you don't. A lot of it you don't. But you got to listen to advice. You got to take it in. You got to think about it. And this is a good friend of mine, and he has helped me with some certain things. And he was just in a mood one day, and he was just giving me all kinds of advice. And I took some of it. And one of the things he said to me was, that burger stand you have down there on the corner, man, you got to do something a little different. I mean, the corner looks fun and everything, but you got that big burger on there. And let's see if I can pull that picture up here. Hang on a minute. We can maybe, I don't know. I got a new computer. I don't have it set up yet, but the picture was refreshment. And he says, you got to turn it up a little bit. You got to revive it. He says, I think you need to have cold drinks, something on the side, refreshments, something that looks like, hey, come here, get recharged, get rejuvenated. And I thought, man, you know what? Dang it. He's right. And so I went to my good man, Ryan, over there at TLA Signs, a good guy, Ryan Ball. He's been my friend, and he's just a friend, and he's also a great business guy, a great business sign guy, and he lets me coach him a little bit. Sometimes he listens. He's not a really good listener. He's a great guy, but he's like really, which I agree. He's focused in his lane, but he just really doesn't want to stretch, and that's a whole nother. Ryan, we got to talk about it. Got to get back on. But anyways, he gets over there. He puts the sign up. He does a beautiful job. He's just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And it says refreshments. And so when I was preparing this message this morning, I thought to myself, man, refreshments, refreshments, refreshments. We've talked about, and they lived happily ever after. And one of the things we talked about living happily after is being drained in the murky middle of our life, right? I just want to go back a little bit. I want to reflect on this because Friday's going to go fast. We're going to talk about nonsense, fun stuff, God stuff, all that kind of stuff. We're going to get in and out tomorrow. But today, we've just really had an impactful week. And so we've set this whole week. And I don't want you to think that I don't prepare for you, because I do, man. I want you to know I'm up every morning early, and I put these things in some type of order. And I want you to understand that it's important that we believe, we prepare, we attack. And I think it's important that if you're going to call me a coach, you're going to call me a friend, you're going to call me a mentor, you're going to call me anything, right? You need to know that I'm putting into your life. And there is a plan to what's going on. And good morning, everybody. Really, you guys started up a little late, but man, you're kicking it in now. But there is a plan. And this week we started with, and they lived happily ever after. And the whole idea was that if they lived happily ever after, is that we don't forget that there's a start, a middle that we have nothing to do with. We have no say in what our life has started like, where we started, where we're born, what we look like, and we just like plop into this world. And then we have this murky middle where we're fighting for things basically most of our life. And at the end, at Disney and all these movies, they say, and they lived happily ever after. And we're looking for our prince, our princess. We want to live happily ever after, but we can't live happily ever after if we don't go through the murky middle. Concept number one. Concept number two was my truck didn't fit in the garage. Remember, we talked about how I bought a brand new truck and I spent all this $130-some thousand on a new truck. My wife said, why do you have to tell people what you spent on the truck? And I said, well, baby, I think it makes the story more relevant. I think it makes the story more real. So I went on and spent all this money on a truck. I did it in a hurry. I called the guy on the phone. He said, if you don't buy it now, you're going to lose it forever. Get down here. And I was going to have to catch a plane. So I drove to Crystal River, bought the truck, spent all the money on the truck, loved the drive home, went to put the truck away because I had to catch a flight the very next morning, and the truck didn't fit in. $135,000 truck, which is at MSRP, which can't be sitting out in the sunlight in Florida burning up. I mean, it's a collector's item. It's a Ford Shelby, for God's sake, 800 horsepower. Oh my God, I don't need all that horsepower, but man, it's beautiful. Can't leave it out in the sun. So what am I going to do? So I got to build a carport because I was in a hurry. It turns in from 135 to another 40 for a carport. And you got to tell your wife a little white lie, like you're thinking about putting a carport for her anyway. And so the hurry goes on. So a happily ever life, the middle. And then we talk about how much we're in a hurry in life and we got to slow down a little bit because we make decisions that are a little bit not good for us at times. I'm going to tell you that sometimes we have to be decisive, but we don't have to be in a hurry. And then yesterday we talked about 2 Corinthians 1:3-4. Clean up my life, oh Lord. And we talked about the point of pain, the purpose of pain, and how we go through pain. And I know I'm seeing a lot of you lining up on here. God bless you guys. I'm going to call you out a little later, but man, oh man, what a blessing. So here's the thing. The purpose of the pain is for God to deliver us. And the purpose of the pain is for God to show up in signs, wonders, and miracles. I know some of you are listening to me saying, okay, Todd, you're always talking about this stuff. Well, it's the new purpose. It's a new purpose for me. Now, it's not a new purpose. It's a more recognized purpose. Yesterday, I basically announced it. God, why'd you make me a preacher? Because that's your purpose. Why'd you give me all this pain? Because I need you to teach people. I need you to show people that I will be there for them. I want you to show through your life, Todd, that you can be delivered from sin. You can be delivered from ego. You can be delivered from over empathy. You can be delivered from so many things. You can be delivered from dependency. You can be delivered from drugs. You can be delivered from illness. You can be delivered from so many things. You need to tell them, Todd, that's why, clean up my Lord life. And then once my Lord has cleaned up my life, then I can share that with other people. And it's not just in God's word all the time. Sometimes I was able to tell people how to fix a broken back. Sometimes I have been able to tell people how to fix a broken knee. And most recently, God has called me to help you build your business, to fix a broken business, to guide your business. I'm blessed with 10 students right now in my first round, and man, are they kicking some tail and taking some names. The purpose to my pain in 2 Corinthians chapter 1:3-4 talks about how I'm blessing people and how you're called to bless people through your course, your journey, your trials in life. Which leads me to today, Psalms 23:3. And I want to talk about exactly what's going on. Short show today. I want to make an impact. I want to go deep. I want to go hard. I want to make sure you're charging. I want to make sure you also understand it's time to take a Coke, time to take a sip break. We need refreshment. Never been a big person on thinking about it. Talking about when I was taken down a week and a half ago, I was knocked down my tail, man. And I think that this week and this renewed purpose of me to not fight the fact that I'm inclined to talk to you about God more than not. It's helped me slow down even the show, helped me slow down my cadence, helped me slow down my thought process. Sometimes I talk too fast, and sometimes I get past the things that matter the most to others because I'm so dialed into the pentameter of maybe my voice or my cadence. But I know there's a lot of you right now that are saying, well, what do you need from, what do I need to do, Todd? What are you saying about refreshments anyway? Well, I just think it's important that we understand that God gave us King David, and King David gave us so many brilliant Psalms. And several months ago, we read Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. And so when I read about Psalms 23:3 this morning, when I think about what's going on in my life, I think about what I can do with you and for you and what the show is going to do for you. I was called this morning to talk about your personal growth. I was called this morning to talk about your spiritual growth. And I was called this morning to talk about your business growth. I need your business growth. I need you profitable. I need you sensible. I need you profitable. I need you spiritually driven. And I need you personally driven. I did not grow in my business until I decided to work harder on myself. Watch this, before I decided to work harder on myself than I was hard working in my business. Listen to me. I mean, I need you to know that you need to work as hard or harder on your personal growth than even your own business. And I truly believe that. Because if you're not able to refresh, you're not able to recharge, you're not able to fix the depletion in your life, in your mind, in your heart, in your soul, and your energy. And so as I go through what I'm going through right now, and I've decided to lose weight, right? I know a lot of you are looking at me like, where's all your mass going? Well, I'm like, decided, man, to get disciplined in my life, in my physicality, and in my exercise, and in my eating routine. More importantly, my eating routine. And I was sitting with a student yesterday, and this is where I'm going to get with you because I really want to break down Psalms 23 down to Psalms 23:3. And it says, he refreshes my soul. He guides me along right paths for his namesake. God stopped at the end of Psalms 23, this beautiful passage through David in Psalms. And he says in verse 3, he says, David says, he refreshes my soul. He guides me along right paths for his namesake. You think, well, what can you make out of that title? I'm going to make a lot out of it in the last 5 minutes of this message. You see, when I decided to lose weight from 235 pounds down to I'm just going to call it what it was, a lean, mean 197 yesterday. Wasn't going to talk about it. I'm a shrinking man, 197 pounds. But what I've watched my body do, what I've watched it do, what I've watched it respond to from the food and the intake and the discipline, no sugar, very, very little carbohydrates, protein, small, multiple meals, all the things that we probably all know. Go talk to Brandon Eckel, man. The guy's a phenomenal nutritional coach. He's coached me in a lot of things. He's helped me go from 235 pounds down to 197, like I just talked about. But I want you to understand that as much as Brandon can teach me, I can't tell you the importance of the discipline of sticking to a game plan. And so when I watched myself shrink, and I watched the muscle mass show up and the fat go away, and some of the things that I wanted to change in my life as a direct routine to my refreshment, right? And I see those things happening. I see it working. I see the discipline. I see the refreshment. I see it working. And so what I want to go do is go just a little deeper here. And I want you to understand that to do that, you need a mindset refreshment. Because the physicality of your body, the diet and the physicality of your body is something you can measure on the scale, something you can see in the mirrors, the physicality of your shrinkingness and your muscles tightening back up and you feeling young. I mean, I literally, for the first time, don't tell my wife, but I ran 3 miles. I haven't ran in 5 years. I was too heavy. My back couldn't make the turn. And I just want you to know, I did it. I ran 3 miles. It wasn't very fast, but I didn't stop. It wasn't the triathlon again. It was just like, man, I can do it again. I can do it again. Fix this collar. I look a little sloppy this morning. I like this shirt. It used to fit me a little tighter. So, clothing is a challenge for me, especially now. I mean, if I'm live every day, I got to have a different outfit every day. You think about that for a moment. It's time for me to refresh my wardrobe. I mean, I think I wore this about 3 weeks ago and now it's back on. I'm like, oh man. You see all these lives I do, and then you see the reproductions, and they kick them out every day. We've got a little video short that goes to YouTube, and it goes to TikTok, and it goes to Instagram, and it goes to Facebook, and it rehashes old shows. And you got to be careful, because I like to wear the black T-shirt, and those shirts are getting a little too big. This shirt's getting a little too, everything it got's a little too big. But you think about the horror of having to pick out clothes every morning. I know some of you are saying, I get you, Todd. But I want you to talk about the refreshment of clothing. I want to talk about the refreshment of this discipline of the body. And I'm not trying to brag. I'm just trying to say that if you can see, you've seen people go from a lot of weight to less weight. You can see the discipline working there. But what I want to do is flip the script on that a little bit. I was talking to my good friend and one of my coaching students yesterday. We had a good hour and a half together. And I said, as you see he's asked, what's going on in your body? I'm like, this is what's going on. I said, but I want you to take it to the next level. I want you to refresh not only your body, but I want you to refresh your mind. Right? I want you to work as hard on your personal growth or harder on your personal growth than your business. And you're working so hard on your business. How can you imagine do your personal growth any harder? There's not enough space. But here's the concept I want you to follow real quick with me. The concept here is this. If you can refresh your mind, you can refresh your body, and you can see me shrinking. You can see that it's working. The problem is you can't see the mind refreshing. You can see the body by losing weight or adding muscle mass or losing weight. But the mind is so private. The mind is just yours and God's. And God says, he refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right path for his name's sake. And here's where I want to bifurcate this message. I want to talk and focus on this word path. The key to refreshment is the choice of paths. The path I want to share with you right now is to or is not to. God's path is the right path. God's path, the choice of God's path is the refreshment path. You see, we get rest, we get favor, we have the burden released, the yoke released, right? Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, as I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28, we talked about that, right? So that refreshment, that weariness, that burden is released if we follow the path of God's choice, right? He refreshes my soul, he guides me along the right path for his namesake. So what is this path? Well, God, our prayer, our mindset, our wisdom needs to be down that right path. And with me, follow me along with this. The path of discipline to losing weight was able for me to see it on the outside. And I'm being refreshed. Matter of fact, Chad told me just the other day, and I don't know if you know who Chad is, but he's a coach of mine. He's a mentor of mine. He's my social media director, and I review these shows with him. He's probably listening right now, and he's probably crawling under the couch. But he said, Todd, something's different about you this week. You came out of your thing, and you're better. I think he used that word. I mean, you're okay in the past. We really liked you, but really your attitude's better. Your mindset's better. Your position's better. And I said, Chad, I chose a different path. I'm following God. I'm following his lead. But in Psalms 3, it says he refreshes my soul. If he refreshes my soul, how do you refresh my soul, oh God? He says he guides me along the right path. And so I've decided to be more purposeful about choosing the right path. And the right path for me was to get healthy, to get leaner, to stop eating crud, to start doing things. And then when I follow that path and I let God discipline me in that path, then I see the results on my body. I mean, I wish you could see it. I'm not trying to be, I'm just saying, matter of fact, I'm going to pull up a nasty picture of me before I started this. I'm going to humble myself. I don't think I'm going to take my shirt off or anything, but I'm going to really, I followed God's path. He said, do this. But the deeper piece I want you to understand is that what he's enlightened me with at the end of this last week and for the beginning of this week to talk to you about today, to build you personally, to grow yourself personally, work harder on your personal growth and even your business growth. And then to grow you spiritually. There's no secret. It's the mission of this show and wired differently and what I'm called to do. The confession that I'm going to preach to grow you spiritually, God to grow you spiritually, but to grow you profitably in your business. That's all that comes first, and then the fruits fall before you. But here's the spin. As I get ready to close this out this morning, is I want you to understand the mind needs the same discipline as what the food did for my body. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. We talked about our daily bread. Our daily bread isn't just manna, isn't just bread or food. It is God's refreshment of us. And so I told my good friend Stefan, I said, Stefan, I need you to not only continue to work on your diet because you're doing a great job and you've got to get your business where it needs to be. And we're doing a great job there, but in your marriage, you're doing a great job there and all these things. But I want you to take your mind and I want you to take the same discipline that I've talked to you about my body and how we're doing in our diet and that discipline over the last 4+ months, 5 months. And I want you to look at your mind and I want you to protect your mind. I think I realized several weeks ago that even though I am purposeful about my mindset, I'm still letting junk in my mind that's taking me other places, that's not making me healthy, that's not allowing me to choose the right path. For instance, TV. I know you're saying you flip tab, but I don't watch TV anymore. I mean, literally, I'll get some news at the end of the night just to kind of get an idea of what's going on and get a flavor. But when I'm up in the morning, I don't turn on the news. There were days I would flip on the YouTube TV and watch. I don't do that. I mean, I just don't. It fills my mind with choices that I am not making for my path, God's path. I don't listen to the radio in the vehicle anymore, and it's not radical. It is probably for some of you, but why? Because when the radio is on, it's playing things that the world wants me to hear, not what I believe I need to hear. I'm not saying it's for everybody. I'm just saying, when God says he refreshes my soul, he guides me along the right path, and I've been coaching you on your mindset to choose, right? To choose. What we talked about this right here. Your will be done. Your will is not the McDonald's commercial that plays on the TV or the radio that damn near forces you to go to the drive-thru. Your will is not the radio ad that tells you to go buy, a Snickers. Your will is not the TV ad that tells you to go to a different show to watch someone else's mindset or training of you. Your will is not the TikTok that flips the half-naked dude or the half-naked lady in the gym flipping around and making you think things that you don't need to think. That is not your will. That is not God's will. That is the world's will. And we have to eliminate some of this. Now, I'm just trying to tell you that this same discipline in diet that has recreated a different version of my body that I'm very happy with and very healthy with, and my back feels better and all those things, it's the same discipline that we need to take into our mindset. Oh, clean my mind up, Lord. Oh, clean my body up, Lord. Oh, clean my life up, Lord. Refresh my soul, Lord. Guide me along the right paths. And I just wanted to share you with the path that I feel like I've been guided on. It's just the story. It's just the story. A lot of you, the listenership is off the roof. It's off the charts. Thank you. God bless you guys. But we've talked about what's your story. We've talked about what you're going to tell people. We've talked about what your new story is going to be. We've talked incessantly. All of you, I'm looking at you right now. Look at all of you. 40, 50 of you. Look at all of you. We've been getting lessons on your story. You get your lessons on the happily ever after. You get the lessons on don't hurry. You get your lesson to clean up my Lord, oh life. You know, what's the purpose of my pain? We get these lessons. And today the lesson is refreshment. And God clearly says that he will guide your path for his name's sake. Because he wants that path that you choose to work. Because his name is on the line. And that's one name you don't mess with. God's name forever and ever, amen. God's word forever and ever, amen. The truth. Let's close this baby out. He guides me along right paths for his name's sake. He guides me. Your path, I want you to choose the discipline path. I want you to choose the discipline paths of maybe your body, but more importantly, I want you to choose the discipline path. Clear out the mess, the noise, clear it out. Give yourself some time on that drive to if you're not listening to some teaching or something on the podcast or a radio, don't just turn on the radio, the omnipresent voice of people out there pointing things at you. Don't leave your mind to the happenstance of the world so much. Choose God's path. Put yourself in his path. Let him speak to you. Make that your decision today. Share this show. Continue to listen to the show. Play it back. Go back to listen to Monday's show, Tuesday's show, Wednesday's show. Take notes. Take God's path, the right path. Refresh your life by choosing God's path. It's the only way we can do it. Refresh your life. Choose God's path. God bless you.